We are live. This is going to be, we're going to try to make this a virus-free episode.
We're going to act like this guy I saw on Facebook opening up his tanning salon this weekend and act like it's either over or doesn't exist or doesn't apply to us.
So we already failed.
Yeah. Hey, this is virus talk. All virus all the time.
All virus all the time, which is pretty much every media outlet right now.
Yeah. They got to listen. Okay, no virus, but I guess you got to say they're benefiting so much off this. They're benefiting so much off people suffering. I even wrote like a bit about like the news in general, like a stand-up thing. I'm not going to do it because this is not the platform for me to perform my stand-up. But it's essentially like news people are horrible people because like they basically have good days when people like have bad days. Like, I got this awesome story, a train blew up, hooray. And then like, oh man, no one died today. I mean, essentially that's it. I'm butchering it.
That's like, I mean, I hate to keep comparing it, and everybody does it too. It's not just me that compares this to 9/11. It was nothing but 9/11 talk and 9/11 related talk for like 5 years.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
it's going to be it for at least for the next year. But yeah, a lot of people are making money, huh?
Remember 9/11? I was listening to Howard. What were you doing?
I think we covered this on one of our episodes already, but we can.
Who cares? Just
say it again.
This is, best of. We're rebooting
best of.
episodes now.
Since there's nothing else to talk. There's literally nothing else to talk about.
We're gonna have younger versions play us on these podcasts, like Next Generation.
Yeah. I was just at school.
Yeah.
High school. Trying to date myself. I was in high school.
Oh, you went to Gibbolt, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Kimmy Gibbolt's School for Intellectually Sound and Mind People.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's
you went to a Catholic school in a rural town.
Only because they had a good sports program. That's the only reason why.
Well, I mean, it became a good sports program, but like you made it a good sports program, at least like the soccer part.
Yeah.
You were like, again, we beat this to the ground, but you're like publicly enemy number one day one because you were like playing with the seniors and stuff, man. Who's this guy from Millstead? I mean, who's this guy, this dark horse?
Well, that's true because I wasn't in any of the groups since it was mostly from the two surrounding towns that the high school was in, and I
Waterloo,
was
and Columbia, Illinois.
You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just talk shit about our towns that we live in.
Reason.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to decide where I'm going to end up for the next 10 years. And Columbia is on our list, but I get a weird vibe from Columbia.
Yeah.
I know you're not a big fan of it either, or maybe you are. I don't know.
Well, listen. Honestly, it's a great place to grow up. I mean, when I grew up, it's a safe place. I mean, the problems here, I mean, I'm not aware of the problems here now because I'm pretty much off the radar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before this thing we're not talking about happened, I pretty much did everything in St. Louis.
What thing?
The elephant in the room.
Yeah.
It's just like every small town where if you're not like from there and you don't have like generations there before you, or you're not rich, or you're not good at sports, like you pretty much don't matter. But that's like most small towns.
Well, that's the vibe I get. It's actually kind of similar to a city I lived in St. Louis. It was very it just seemed
Valley Park.
More like Baldwin.
Baldwin's like that.
Yeah, that's just the vibe I got. Like we were like I said, we weren't because it's such a different. I got this one here. It's such a different. I hate to use the word vibe because it's so overused, but because we didn't know anybody, since we didn't grow up there. So we literally didn't talk to anybody because we didn't know anybody. And so just anytime we did have to interact through like our kids were really young then. So like I think the only time we interacted with the folk was during like gymnastics practices. And the vibe I just got from them was just like very, I don't want to say rich, but just like well off white people.
white
just
people.
like I don't know, no diversity. But I don't know. It's just it's I don't know what you call it. Maybe like you said, maybe that's every not every city, but there's a lot of cities like that.
Well, not a lot of them. Like I used to work in Centralia, and that's different.
Yeah.
Because it's economically depressed and has a lot of crime problems.
Well, I didn't mean every town's white. I just meant like you like.
I'm not saying white. I'm saying like the whole generational. We give a shit about people. Like there's no. That's a train. Like it depends if it's a. People like live there. They have kids there. They stay there. They go to college. They go to the local junior college, and then they come back, or they go to a college like 2 hours away and they come back every weekend. And then they live here. And then there's towns with just transients.
Right.
People come and go.
It's just, yeah, that's like the small town mentality. And it has nothing to do with color, or I mean, it does in some aspects. But in terms of like, just like you said, a lot of small towns are just, people know who's been there. They know whose kids, like who's been there in the past, like who's grown up there and whose kids or whose parents. Oh, your friend, you're so-and-so's kid, you're so-and-so's dad. It's that type of mentality.
It's called well, I might not be applying it to this situation correctly, but it happens in the workforce. It's called the good old boy effect, where you just surround yourself with people you know, and you build basically a civilization, a social network of people you know, and it kind of like keeps out outsiders. Now, when I learned about it, it was used as a racist term, where you don't want to hire people of color, you just want it to be all white. Okay, I'm not going to like debate that at all. I mean, but I see it more as you just hire your friends, you hire who you know, and same thing in these small towns. Like if you move from another town to like Columbia or maybe Waterloo, probably a bunch of towns like this across the nation. It's not like unique, but if you're not like badass at sports or like you don't have cash to throw around, people aren't going to care about you.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're like, I mean, yeah.
I don't know if it's so. I mean, it's a little bit when in those 3 cities that you mentioned that we grew up in. Since they're whatever town, what are they? Townships, municipalities. I don't know.
Metropolises.
Metropolis. What are they saying? I guess since they're so like close together, it might not be as bad as if it's like miles upon miles away or in different states. It might be more of a different story.
That's probably more scarier if you're like in some small town in Iowa or even like in middle Missouri and you're like a half hour away from even like in like southern Illinois outside of Belleville, there's towns that are like Belleville's the big city to them. Like you probably lived in those like 500 populated towns. Yeah, you probably like it'd be really weird living there.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's weird about where I live. Like Belleville and Columbia are 2 completely different areas, and they're about the same distance from where I'm at.
You know what though? I don't want to shit on Belleville because I mean I have done a lot of stuff in Belleville, but a couple years ago, I went there for St. Patrick's Day, and I'm just being honest. Everyone was a fucking asshole.
Really?
Just like rude.
Did you run into my dad?
No, dude. No,
maybe. He's an asshole.
We left because there was a big brawl in the bar that spilled out into the street. It could have been your dad. I mean,
yeah,
there was a dude smoking weed, and he asked me if I wanted to hit, and I'm like, no, this is like downtown Belleville. And he called me a name and said, "You're gonna call the cops." There just happened to be a cop walking up the alley. I'm not gonna tell him. I'm letting nature take its course. And then everyone was like, I wasn't wearing a jacket. Everyone just kept saying, you're not wearing a jacket. What's wrong with you? And it was just like, ooh.
That's St. Patrick's Day, though. There's idiots everywhere on St. Patrick's Day.
I'm sure, like, St. Louis is awful on St. Patrick's Day.
I mean, I got kicked out of a bar and in a fight in St. Patrick's Day.
Tell that story, buddy.
I've already told it.
You told it to the cops. You
I don't
told it to
like
the
to, yeah,
lawyers.
I literally did. I literally told it to the cops and literally told it. I didn't speak to a lawyer, but yeah.
Listen, look, I was always like more comfortable in big cities because you're more anonymous. People
Yeah.
don't really give a shit about you. It kind of takes a lot of pressure off your back. You don't stand out as much. But like there's like cities like St. Louis, it is kind of like similar to a small town because everyone wants to know what high school you went to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a lot of that, like if you're not from St. Louis, you're not one of them. But it's changing because a lot of transients are coming. And transient has a negative word, but I love the word transient.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so a lot of people are moving and it's changing, but it used to be bubble. Like,
Yeah. Well, what
it's,
sucks is like the decisions I have to make aren't mine. They're for my kids and schools and backyards and it's all that. Which if it wasn't, I mean, it's not a negative, but if if you ask any parent, like if it wasn't for my kids, I'd be doing something completely different, or I'd be living somewhere completely different. Um, and I found like that's why I'm more accepting about living here now, because it's like, well, I grew up here. I liked it when I was a kid, so I want my kids, like I wouldn't mind them growing up here. um, and then you gotta integrate the fact of more grown-up stuff like taxes and I guess that's and other people and other parents that you have to interact with.
that's got to be a big part of it. Like, because you got to be social and play nice with other parents. And I'm sure it's not that hard, but like, you can't just like watch your kids practice and just chill out because you got to like mingle. Probably you got to put on a good face, put on your mask,
Mhm.
not the mask, but your face, your
No,
personality.
and we do that. We're already experiencing that now, and like you said, it like we know, like we've known some of them before, so that helps. But if I was from a completely different city or completely different state, and you're in that aspect where everybody's friends or like they grew into high school or grade school together and they've been friends for years, and then you try to integrate that, it's a lot. I could see how a lot harder it would be. So,
Well, I mean, I worked in pretty much mainly small markets. I'm not trying to show off in radio. And the only thing that kept me relevant at all in these towns was being in radio. If I moved there for any other job, I would be so isolated and
mhm.
so alone. And I was anyway, but I made it that way. Uh,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, it's like at the end of the day, like it depends if you think like short term versus long term. Like long term, like does it really matter where you live? Like like when you think about like when you're on your deathbed.
yes, it does.
Okay.
Because for me, I mean, my situation is obviously completely different than yours. I was some scumbag wanting to be a shock jock guy, and I mean, I'm not downing myself, but my goal is different. Like, you're responsible for other human lives, but I'll tell you, like living in Centralia, Illinois, and I'm not shitting on the town. It was, I mean, but like I was not happy there. There was nothing to do. I didn't do heroin, so I didn't fit in. Uh,
Well, I mean, like as long as
it's a
you're
joke.
happy,
It's a joke.
I'm not saying that. Like it, on the long run, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like as
My
long as
heart
you're
ached for
happy.
St. Louis. I was constantly driving
Yeah.
an hour to St. Louis. Like, that tells you right there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like as long as you're happy, like does it really matter where you live?
Well, good.
Because
I wasn't
the
happy
thing
because of where I live, is what I'm
yeah,
saying, though.
yeah,
I'd
we're on the
walk
same
outside my
page.
house and there's people knocking on my door wanting. It was horrible.
Hmm.
Same thing with pretty much every town I was in, and um, but I mean, what is your goal? I mean, what do you want when you move? Do you want to have like? I mean,
I don't know,
could you ever live in a city with your family? Is that a possibility? City life?
You ever seen House Hunters?
No, I don't. Houses are not on my radar
Or I
because
don't
I'm
know.
never gonna have
I'm
a
trying to
house.
think. They've been on for 20 years. Like this, the fine apartment hunters. I don't know what it's called.
I'll watch
But it's like
Studio Apartment Hunters.
where it's like they look at three different places, and then like it's the same show, and it's the same like every single place has a pro and a con,
Oh,
and
I
there's like
have
it's
seen it.
just like that, and that's kind of what it is. Like there's nothing that checks off all the lists. There's good things about everything, and there's not bad things, but just cons about everything. So it's hard to it's hard. You just got it puts everything. You got to put everything in perspective to make a decision. Um,
They always say location, location, location. I've said it too many times, but that's like the three big words in real estate.
Well, a lot of it. Well, the big ones are location from where you have to drive to work every day because you have to do it every day.
Just transit, like highway. If you're close to a highway and shit.
Yeah,
that's good.
That versus cost.
Yeah.
Cost is huge. That's probably the biggest. But it's like a mix between, like, you don't want to drive 2 hours to work every day or an hour to work every day. But at the same time, you can't afford a, $3,000, $4,000 mortgage.
That's a lot of people in Chicago. They work in the city and they take like the train, like an hour and a half train. Even like in New York City, they live in like New Jersey, take like an hour and a half train ride there and back. Like that's insane.
The quality of life is awful, especially if you work like a 9 to 5 and you add 2 hours of your 3 hours to your commute.
You got to be like on the train by like at 6 a.m. probably. I mean,
yeah, I don't envy. I'm not cut out for that life at all.
Yeah, could you live in like a city though? Like if you're single, could you live in like some small apartment on top of everybody?
Oh,
like
totally. I mean, yeah. But I'm not single. But yeah, if I was single, I could probably live anywhere.
You might be single if you keep doing these shows, maybe.
What does that mean?
I don't know. They're horrible. I'm just trying to make a joke.
No, I was trying to like get like I got the joke. I just didn't know if it was for the positive or for the negative.
That's the art of it. Just for
like I'm gonna be so tempted to leave my family, or my family is just gonna think how much of a loser I am, and they're gonna leave me.
Your family's gonna hold you back.
Oh man.
You're gonna be eating dinner with your family, and then you're just gonna like someone's gonna make some noise, and it's just gonna make you snap, and you're like, I could have been the next Joe Rogan if it wasn't for you, and you like point at your family.
Isn't that funny how we'll segue into that? Isn't that funny how that like Joe Rogan's the new Howard Stern in terms of
Howard
like
sucks now.
Well, like no one says like that dates you. It dates you when you say, "Oh, I want to be like if you're actively pursuing something, I want to be the next Howard Stern." Like, well,
I want to be the next Babe Ruth at baseball.
It's exactly like an athlete. Like, who are your heroes? Babe Ruth. Really? No one else since then.
I want to be the next Sonny Liston at boxing.
But like when you think of podcasts, it's like who is on top of the mountain? I know there's different areas, but I guess in terms of just entertainment, the entertainment factor.
Well, there's several types. There's the documentary kind, which are really popular. I got a list that I'm a must list. There's a show on HBO called Atlanta, and I'm being advised heavily by somebody to listen to the podcast first. And then there's like radio morning show podcasts, which would be like kind of like Joe Rogan, right? I mean, I don't want to like.
But it's not radio anymore. But that's the thing. Like Howard Stern, no matter who, even if you listen to him or not, like everybody knew that name.
Everyone still does, even though.
Oh yeah, you're right. But I'm saying like the next generation, like of people younger than us, if they listen to podcasts, they probably know who Joe Rogan is, love or hate, or a fan or not.
They probably know who Joe Rogan is more than most. I mean, I'm not saying people on the radio aren't famous. There's a lot of famous radio people, but probably a lot of people could name him before they could name other people. There was a list. Someone put out a list of famous personalities, and he was on the list. It was like top 10. Howard was number 1, but it was like broadcasters, podcasts, radio.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, Joe Rogan made it. It's like, yeah, dude, wake up. Of course he did.
Yeah, he's huge. And it's funny, he didn't even start like the podcast revolution. I mean, Howard didn't either. He didn't start the radio revolution. I guess it's just in terms of popularity and how good the shows are. And
Howard's evolved, as he would say. He's more PC.
Which he should. He's been doing it for so long.
I don't fault the guy, but he all his old cohorts besides Baba Booey and Robin and Fred and maybe a handful, they're all gone. He wants nothing to do with them. It's like a celebrity Hollywood TMZ kind of show. And he's getting the who's who of celebrities, but that's only, I don't listen to Howard. I watch like the interviews like on Facebook or like Twitter, and they're good. Mm-hmm. But what about the other 3 hours when he's like, I mean, I don't know.
It's sad because I remember the days where I listened for 4 hours a day. I didn't miss a show. I didn't miss a minute.
That's like the only show I listened from. I would get up at 6 a.m. even when I didn't have to. If he had something going on that day, I would get up at 6 a.m. and I would listen the whole day.
Those are the days, like when he first went on Sirius. I know, I mean, there were times before that, but and for me personally, when I had a job where I had to work super early and I wasn't bothered, so I just could have my headphones on all day. Those were the days when he went to Sirius, like soon after. And I would just listen to the whole show. And then remember, like they would do a repeat right afterwards. So I think I missed
like all day for a while.
Yeah, I missed like the first like half an hour because I think when he started at 6, my shift started at 7.
He started at 5. He'd come on at 5 because at first one channel would be East Coast time and one would be like LA time.
Yeah.
So
I had to carry the portable Sirius. I think that's what I did. God, I can't even remember.
I had the boom box, and then it got damaged because it was by a window, and then rain got on it.
Oh, really?
I said, fuck it. And I was into Opie and Anthony more at the time.
Yeah. But that's like, I never got into any other radio talk show.
I did, but I was like, that was my first profession.
More, yeah. That's your. But I think after that, after Howard, I don't think I ever listened to radio. I mean, locally, I guess, but it's not like something that I had to listen every minute of every show. It's just on whenever I'm commuting.
To other shows the same way you listen to Howard.
Now I do. Well, podcasts are kind of the same. Like, I guess it's on demand. I guess that you listen to it whenever you can.
But when you listen to the radio now, it's not the same effect as listening to the Howard Stern Morning Show.
No. Well, those shows don't even,
anybody else.
Those shows don't exist anymore. Well, those shows are podcasts now.
Local morning. There's still morning shows like syndicated ones and local ones.
Yeah, but like,
have like some.
When I think of Howard, I think of like, I don't know. I guess I gotta put what era of Howard. Like I think of more than just news and.
It was an event.
Yeah, like they always had something, either skits or.
It was like a Tonight Show, Saturday Night Live, like on the radio.
Yeah. It's like, who's going to be like, what are they going to do today?
Yeah.
Like now it's like formulaic. How's that formula?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's pretty much the same stuff on every.
It's the same. Like if it's Wednesday, you know what it's going to be. You know what skits they're going to do or what segments they're going to do. I don't think that's how Howard was.
Well, the formulaic thing is not a bad thing because it brings like familiarity. It makes it part of like your routine. Like it's Wednesday, that means it's like talk like this Wednesday or whatever the hell. I mean,
right? It's funny. I can't really remember Howard on terrestrial radio. Like I know I listened to him a lot.
Remember we listened to him in the lunchroom at Gibalt. It was one of those boxing matches.
Yeah.
Bastard told us to quit.
Yeah. What was the boxing match? God, I can't.
There was two. There was Angry Black and Crazy Cabbie, and then there was Stuttering John and Crazy Cabbie.
That's it.
I watched Stuttering John and Crazy Cabbie in Florida because I was vacationing in Florida, and they put it on the E channel that night. That was the thing is you can listen to the show, then you see like the shit at night.
Right. Let's do a full circle. So you listened to Howard on 9/11, or no?
Yeah, I did.
On the like driving to school or not? Yeah, we were 16. We could drive.
I was shackled. You know, I was in my cage and I was being brought to my school. And,
You're being transported.
Huh?
You're being transported.
Hannibal Lecter mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I listened to Howard on 9/11, and he was legendary. And I'm not sure if he's being very legendary during this time period.
Well, there was something this week. Did you see? I can't remember if we tweeted it out through our Twitter account, but he is taking the anti-Trump stance.
No, he has been.
Shocker. But
he has been. No, he's a. I don't want to play this game, but he's Hollywood. They call him Hollywood Howie. I mean, he's got Alec Baldwin on. He's got Ellen DeGeneres on. He's got all these people that he always hated. And he's kissing her ass, and he's one of them. He had Hillary Clinton on, whatever. But
so he's getting money for this, right? It's like, what celebrity is gonna be pro-Democrat in 2020 on an election year? You know, it's almost like they take turns.
It's pretty much he's like a mouthpiece for them now, is what he's being accused of. I don't listen because I don't have Sirius. So I'm not paying for it. I just watch his interviews on YouTube or Facebook, or I watch like old clips, like when like Artie was on. Not saying Artie was great. I don't get the Artie obsession. But yeah, it's basically like Alec Baldwin goes on and they just rip on Trump for like ever. And like there's a lot of his fans that are like getting really pissed off about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he can feel how he wants to feel, but he was best friends with Trump for a while. Those fights were at Trump's arena. Yeah. Trump flew him on a helicopter.
But it's bad. It's bad for business.
It is bad.
It's bad when you're in that business. It's bad business.
But he was always honest. He never gave a fuck before. He didn't care if he upset people. He was always like bucking the trends, and now he is the trend. Or whatever makes you happy. He gave me years of joy, so I wish him the best.
Yeah.
But he said
well,
that
some
he
people.
Wants...
Good.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that a lot of people. I mean, Joe Rogan has been doing it for that long, but he's been doing it long enough where his fans are saying the same thing about him.
He's pro-Trump, isn't he?
No, see, that's the thing. Like the media paints him as a right-wing guy, but he's not. He goes, I'm everything. He goes, I'm pro-gun, but I have very liberal views. Like I'm like he always states that he's running out of time. This meeting will end in 10 minutes. Okay.
Check.
God damn it, Zoom. Oh no, like everything, like, you know, he's like everybody. Like I think that's the stance now, at least him and among his peers. It's like you're not one side, or you're kind of a little bit of everything. But a lot of things he says that gets clipped out and gets written about in blogs. Well, he said this. He'd rather. What did he say lately? Something like he's not going to vote for Joe
Trump over Biden.
Well, that's not what he said. He just said that's what was being reported, and that's what they clipped out. But he's just like, I'm not voting for Joe Biden. But I think you're right. I think he did say that he'd rather vote for Trump than vote for Joe Biden. But that doesn't. I mean, I guess that does make him. It's just not a stance. It's just an opinion.
I think I don't know if he's pro-Trump, but I think he takes Trump over Biden, is what he was saying.
Yeah. Well, he was
like, oh God, he loves Biden.
He's just like, of all people, he was a Bernie guy, and I think he was either Kamala Harris or Tulsi. He was a Tulsi supporter, like way earlier on, and so now he kind of just he was pro Bernie, and then once Bernie dropped out, he goes, man, I don't know. He goes, Joe Biden can't even formulate a sentence. So I don't know.
Do you think Joe Biden's got dementia? Just real quick take on that. No, I have to, yes or no?
I think he's being like heavily propped up.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say so, because people said the same thing about Hillary. Remember that the year of the election, like she was fainting and they got a body double and stuff like that, which was probably fake news or was true.
I remember that.
Yeah, there's like, but that's, that could have been, shit paid for by Facebook.
They said Trump had dementia too, I remember, because he fucked up his words or something. Or like,
well, his thing was, one thing that he's on a lot of pills, or is, I don't know, during his campaign. No, Trump. He was on like a lot of speed.
Yeah, I could see that. People were saying he was on coke during one of his debates because he was like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Good old speed.
I don't know. It's just, without getting super political.
I'm just asking you, like.
No. I was trying to cap it off with. It's just hard. Like, you take one side and you're painted this title, which in reality, like, you should like a little bit over here and you should like a little bit over there, because it's a lot. There's economic reasons, there's social reasons, there's local reasons. But if you like one side or one part of one side, then you're painted this term or this title.
It's clicks.
Yeah.
Just like small towns. If you're not like us and you're not from here, you don't believe what we believe, we don't want you around. Like, someone told me, though, one time in a debate, in a respectful debate, of course, that pick a side. It's real easy to be a person that, oh, I like this, I like that. And it's like, he's like, you got to stand for something. You got to pick something. It's like, I don't want to pick something. I mean, I'm politically confused. I don't know what the
like
term
I said,
would be.
a lot of people should. I mean, you should be. You shouldn't be one-sided over everything, in my opinion. You know, that's where it gets into the thing, like Democrat or nothing. Really? So, I mean, what if you have a super racist Democrat, which, you know, Biden has been labeled a racist or sexist.
What if it's Hitler?
So yeah. What if we have a Democratic Hitler? So Democrat or nothing. You know, that's just that's blind, not blind faith. That's just, you're a blind follower, which
what they
I'm not,
say
it's not a pro-Trump thing. It's just, you know, it's, you know, think with, it's not even your heart. It's just with, I don't know, but everything's evil. It's all evil. Both sides are evil. So it's like picking the less, I think, and that's the picture that's painted here as well. It's like pick the lesser of two evils, which it usually is the case every 4 years.
Well, like they'll basically, if anybody attacks Biden, they just say, what about Trump? Which, okay, fine. But then it's like, I don't want cancer. I want AIDS.
Yeah. Yeah. But that just like the South Park, it seems like that's what it is every year. Every election.
Turd sandwich.
Yeah. Or just like a completely vanilla-less, you know, I can't remember in the past. So not John Kerry. Yeah, well, John Kerry was years ago. Who did Barack Obama beat his
John McCain.
John McCain. No. Yeah. He did the first
Mitt
round,
Romney.
the second go round. Mitt Romney, that's it.
Mittens the Mormon.
Yep. I don't know. We got 4 minutes left. What do you want to what are you watching?
Still the Americans. I thought I was on the last season, but I have another season. That's like the most exciting thing that happened to me this week. I downloaded this streaming thing called Tubi or Tubi. I don't know how to say it, but it's got like a bunch of cool movies on it. They don't have their own shows like Netflix. It's obscure stuff. I was watching Nosferatu before we started. Cool. That was made in the 1920s. It's still fucking scary. More scarier than most things out now.
Nice.
Maybe because it's just black and white, but it's silent. I guess I'm a film nerd, even though I'm one of those people that criticizes movies but never makes one.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of us. Check out Upload. Have you watched Upload on Amazon?
No, I haven't.
It's from Craig Daniels, The Office, Parks and Rec. It's interesting. It's different, but it's pretty enjoyable. It's kind of like The Good Place, like a futuristic, like The Good Place show, but it's more futuristic and not as sitcom-y clean.
Is it on HBO?
No, it's on Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
And it's like 10 episodes, short episodes.
You said you watched Hotel Artemis?
Yeah, I watched it last night.
What did you think?
I like the premise. It was pretty entertaining. The writing was a little, like the dialogue was a little, I don't know, like action movie-ish. Like I feel like it could have been written better. Like the dialogue and the acting and the direction. But it
was fun though.
The concept, yeah, it was a fun movie. It started off right off the bat, and that's what I feel like movies should be. Not all movies. Yeah, he put on a good performance.
Batista.
I thought
he's in some kids movie now.
It's funny. I never watched him as a wrestler. Like that's not when I watched wrestling. So I've seen like a match or two, but I never, you know, I don't see him as a wrestler. I see him as an actor first. Since I never watched him wrestle.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good in that too. And of course, we got the Last Dance finale tonight.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying that. It reminded me about my childhood.
I don't want it to end. I wish they would have. I wish they would have done an episode a week instead of 2.
Are you gonna watch the Mark McGwire Sammy Sosa one?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's gonna be good. I didn't realize how much of an asshole Sammy Sosa was.
Like that's the thing. Like we watched all these. Like these were our heroes as kids. We grew up with these guys as heroes. So it's awesome. That's why I think these documentaries are awesome. Granted, they probably can't do documentaries like this with everybody, but you know, you take the greats of the '90s. So of course, take Michael Jordan. I don't know. Like, are you on the side where Jordan was an asshole?
Yeah.
Or are you on the side that he's just a super competitive guy and he did it for the better of the team?
No.
No,
he's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
He is. Oh,
I
listen.
don't know, man. I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like the whole.
No. He is unequivocally the greatest player to ever play basketball. I don't care, like, if LeBron's your guy or Kobe's your guy, you're stupid. Okay, I'll say that right now. You're stupid if you think he's better than Michael. Watch his footage from the '80s when he first got on the team. Okay. That being said, he does tremendously well when what happens. What makes him do well?
He's got a team around him.
No. Yes, that's how, like, he once ended up winning a championship, but even he had a problem with that at first with the triangle offense. What makes him rain down hell upon the other team?
When someone talks shit about him?
Not just that, a slight. Any kind of slight.
I love that, though.
BJ Armstrong jumping up and down, the Sonics coach not talking to him, guy on TV slighting him, it makes him, like, prove him wrong. And that's a sickness, I think. But in his case,
that's awesome. That's
in his case, he's abusive, though. He's abusive to the point where he's abusive, though. I bet that they were not happy that he came back, like Scottie Pippen and all them. They were probably like, fuck, asshole's back.
Maybe. See, that's what sucks because about this. That's the only thing that sucks about this documentary is that Jordan got the final say. So, like, stuff could have gotten cut out. Or, like, they knew Jordan was going to see this. Like,
they show him everything. They show him what everyone says too. Like with Gary Payton and the shit. He like watches it and goes, "Well, this is what He has the final say."
Yeah.
Someone doesn't get to slam him and then walk off. They always go, "Here, Jordan." Like, I mean,
yeah. It's great for internet reactions, but I don't know. I love it. I love every minute of it. And, I'm sad. I'm probably gonna. I've been spacing them out. I watched one on Monday. I watched one on Monday and one on Tuesday. So I'll probably watch the last one on Tuesday. But yeah, that's interesting. I know. I don't watch live TV because I can't watch something without getting interrupted. And I want to watch something without interruptions.
I won't watch it live. I'll watch it like after the fact sometime, like later on.
But that's interesting because I don't know because are you all caught up? Did you watch the last episode? Now, I don't know that whole segment when they're playing that powerful music and then he's just like I forgot what what he was talking about, but he was talking about competing and all of a sudden he's just like tearing up. He's like, "We're done," or break. That's what he said.
I think that's when. Episode? I think that's when, like, they played him all those videos of people saying like how mean he was, and he's like, "If you don't want to play that way, fine. That's how I play." He's like, "Those are people who never won anything," and he started crying. It made him feel bad.
I love that. Yeah. I love that shit. It's like, you don't like it, you should, you haven't. Well, yeah, just like what you said.
Did you see the Steve Kerr thing?
Yeah, when he got in a fight.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'd like fucking. I'm sure I couldn't take Michael, but I wouldn't just like Steve hitting him back. But I would have like kept hitting him and hitting him. But that's a horrible situation to have like just one guy basically call all the shots.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you won 3 championships, but at what cost? I mean, he basically like elevated everyone on that team, like profile in life. If you're part of that team, you're like probably a celebrity forever.
That's why I hate this is over because, I want them to go like talk about, like, I want this to be like the Bulls in the 90s documentary, which they kind of are because they're talking about the time that Jordan wasn't there. But I want them to go like the year after he quit. Spoiler alert, he's done after the season, right? After 98. My memory's not that great. I can't remember the years.
It is because Krause made Phil leave and Jordan wouldn't play without Phil. And then Jordan comes back and plays for the Wizards a few years later, but that's it.
Yeah.
He's called the Bulls, but it was, I guess, because people got shot watching. So that's the Wizards. Fun fact. Well, trivia for you.
So I'm assuming they're this maybe not the last episode, but they're going to discuss the flu game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was that 98 or was that the year before?
I'm not sure.
I don't think that I remember watching that game live. That was like one of my like memories because obviously that was either 97 or 98. So it was like the oldest times I watched the Bulls. I remember watching that game and then watching that last shot when he cut and he came in and then he shot from the free throw line and he hung up there and then it went in. Don't remember what game that was. Don't remember if it was the last game to win a final. I can't remember. I'm sure I'll find out tonight if they discuss it.
I remember the Scottie Pippen fiasco where he wouldn't go in because the ball went to Tony Kukoc. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember being confused, like, why isn't he going in? I didn't remember not knowing until like after.
Oh yeah, when Pippen was a little bitch.
Yeah, because the final shot went to Kukoc, and thought it should go to him. I mean, that's.
So you think Jordan would do? You think Jordan would do something like that?
No, but he did initially till Phil. Without Phil, Jordan probably would have been just way worse than he was. But with Phil and his Zen stuff and his Native American stuff that he did, he kept everyone in line. Phil could control him.
That's the ultimate. You probably I don't know how big you are into football. I know you watch the Bears, which is barely football, but that's the argument with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
How's your Rams doing?
They're not my Rams, but I'm fucking another deceased team.
What is that? What is that? Oh, that hurts. I was gonna try to be into that.
Dude, I'm so sad. God damn it. Anyway.
What a bummer, man.
What was I getting at? Yeah, that's the thing. That's the talk now. Is we're gonna find out who's better, Belichick or Brady, without each other. But Jackson went on to he went on to coach the Lakers, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And Rodman actually went on the Lakers, but he ended up getting ousted because he kept pulling his shit. I guess it didn't. Yeah. It didn't last. And Rodman
I always think it's the coach. The coach is always greater than a single player.
I don't know. I know some coaches that will remain nameless that are pretty useless that had good players and if they didn't have those players, they'd be.
Well, it's nothing. No, not just the coach. It's like when you say Belichick or Brady. When you take Brady out of it, you still have a team.
I see.
If you put Brady, which we're gonna find out, even though Gronk and just Gronk from the Patriots went to Tampa Bay. But we're gonna find out if Tampa Bay's terrible, everybody's gonna say, well, Brady's overrated now.
See, Jordan would welcome that challenge. Jordan would thrive off proving everybody that he could still do it.
Well, did he? I didn't watch him in the 2000s. How'd he do?
Oh, when he came out for the Wizards, average. Yeah. He was past his prime. I mean, he'd get maybe 14 points a game, no 50 points a game or that shit like that.
Yeah.
And again, I heard stories he was an asshole. It sucked.
I'm sure he was. I mean, when you're that good and you make that much money and
he did a lot of good things. You see him backstage meeting sick people, meeting disabled people, signing stuff. He's real charismatic. I mean, God, he's charismatic.
I kind of like the fact that he ribs on people. I mean, people call it hazing nowadays, but I like that. That's what I love most. The candid stuff, talk between his teammates. Not even playing. After a game, he's just shooting the shit and got a cigar in his hand and. What scene was that? Man, I can't be seen drinking a beer between him and Scottie Pippen.
Yeah,
I forgot what episode that was. It was man, good. back in the day, man, they were chugging, they were chugging 6-pack before they went on. He got a cigarette from the coach.
I remember that.
It's just, and then the one episode where he was talking with Seinfeld in the back. I mean, that was the quintessential 90s, man, mid to late 90s. It's Jordan and Seinfeld.
Seinfeld points to a play on the board and he's like, that's not going to work.
That's not going to work. Classic. That's not going to work. I forgot about that. Classic. While we're here, rest in peace, Jerry Stiller.
Yes.
I mean, the guy was old. He was old, but still.
He was a legend.
And Fred Willard we lost yesterday.
Oh God, yeah.
Man. Comes in threes. Who's next?
No.
Hope it's not you. Comedy legend.
Oh, B? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not how I'm going to be remembered. I wish.
It'll be interesting to see her the next week or two if another, super famous comedy.
Some model just died. Some like legendary model, like a female model in her like 80s died. So there's your third person. I don't know who she is because I'm not into models. Well, I am and I'm not, but
right.
I couldn't like do model trivia. I'm like looking at some of them.
I don't know. What if it's like Mel Brooks?
No.
To think. But like, okay, that's the thing. There's so many great, just I don't want to call them celebrities, just comedians, actors, directors, sports people, and it's just there's a lot of old ones. So I mean, it's going to be a fact for the rest of our lives until there's a mediocre generation that doesn't produce great.
Like right now.
Art. Yeah. Well, yeah. They shoot they're dying before they're past their prime. Yeah.
Is that an old thing to think that people suck now? We're old, right? To be like, oh, Mel Brooks, oh, all these people, they're legends, and then like not to bring up like Pete Davidson, but someone like that, and just like laughing his fucking.
That's a generation thing. I mean, just think of our like. I'm trying to think like, did our parents like Adam Sandler?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, he's just a goofball.
My mom hated Adam Sandler.
I thought my dad thought he was kind of funny. He was more of a Chris Farley guy than Adam Sandler. But that's I'm trying to think of my parents' generation, or my parents, like who I loved and who they didn't like. Comparable to us.
Your dad hated Strangers with Candy, didn't he?
No, he loved Strangers with Candy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I loved him. He thought it was funny.
That's all they need. That's their goal.
Yeah, his favorite scene was I think it was the episode whenever they did the backstory of how her dad became the way he did. It was the pack of dogs.
That's how he died. Yeah.
It's how he died. Yeah. Yeah, he was there at a ball. What were they at, a ballpark? They were playing.
It was some kind of school rally, and the opposing team showed up, and for some reason they had like dogs on their bus, and they just came out and killed them.
And so like they showed the whole aspect, and then like she just bought a hot dog. It was, Daddy, no! She's eating a hot dog. No. Oh, kids are home. All right, well, we'll end it there.
I want to say one thing though. I think funny is funny. I think either something's funny or not. It's not a generational thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk more next week. Adios.